Greetings, happy coders, and welcome back to another video. A video that I have just recorded and didn't switch on the audio, and there was me describing the delights of the Pac-Man sound effects, and they didn't record, so I've had to start again. Here I am, obviously for you the first time, for me the second. Um, yeah, so if you have been following the videos, then you'll know that I've been just recently working on the AY sound effects, and but I've also gone back to the beeper because I wanted to kind of integrate them because you can then choose if you're using a 48K machine. Some people really like to do that. Obviously, we're going to do a cassette, and so some people like to load that into their favorite machine and have it run that way with the beeper sound. And some people have AY, so you don't really want the two um, effects to be out of sync in terms of timings and stuff. So kind of had to go back and do a little bit of work on that, which is now sorted. And I'll be playing it shortly, but obviously you don't really want to be listening to the beep and me at the same time because it will be, just one will drown out the other. So um, if you go back to the previous example in the previous video, if you haven't seen it, then go back. You'll see that with the beeper and with the AY, there's a problem with the timing of the waka, right? And the waka, of course, is an iconic part of Pac-Man, isn't it? I mean, it's as important as the ghosts and the maze and everything else, right? You got to get that right. So, um, yeah, and so what I've been doing up to now is every time that Pac-Man was eating a pill, I was triggering a waka sound, right? What I've done now is separated the wa and the ka, and then sorry, I'm laughing. It's just a daft thing to describe, isn't it? But um, I've separated the wa from the ka so that when you eat the pill, the first time you eat the pill, you get a wa, and then the second time you eat the pill, you get a ka. But and that's really just a pitch going up and down. But anyway, there is an issue with that though, because if there is a gap, you know, if you eat a couple of pills and then there's a gap, then it has to reset back to the wa. So you can't start with a ka, right? So you've got to reset it. So you've got to put a timer in there so that it goes wa, and then if you eat a pill within a certain time, it will go ka. But if that timer is passed, it'll reset back to the wa. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. Otherwise, you'll end up with a kawa instead of a waka. So um, I've done that. It sounds a lot better. I'm not saying it sounds perfect, and I'm not saying that I've finished, but it does sound a lot better than it did. The AY one is a little bit low, so I may have to tweak that a bit. Um, Overall, the waka sound seems a little bit slow. I'm not sure though if that might be the 50 hertz. It's a PAL machine, and it's running slightly slower than the arcade, which is 60 hertz. So there would be a noticeable difference there, and that might be what it is. I could probably test it on a 60 hertz machine and see how it compares to the arcade. I might well do that actually, just to see. At least that would answer the question, wouldn't it? Um, yeah, but if not, then I'm not really sure actually. I probably have to try and make the sound a little bit um, shorter, maybe. I'm not sure, but it does sound okay, and I'm sure you'd rather be listening to that than me. So we'll start off with the beeper, and yeah, we'll do that first. Let's load that up, and then we can have a listen. Okay, so there you go. And the other thing to say is that I've also put a timer on the siren, right? And it does. That also sounds a little bit more stable, I think. I'm not sure exactly why, but it seems to. It certainly sounds a lot better with the when in the AY version too, because it's timed really nicely now, so it's quite smooth. So that's good. Before I play the AY, what I would say is though I think that the game actually uses the same sample, or I don't know what the sound hardware is. It might be custom. I think it is some sort of custom thing, but um, it's certainly not an AY chip anyway. But if it uses the same code and then it sort of stretches out the wavelength, then it's going to be the low frequency is going to be slower than the fast one, right? In other words, the siren is actually going to be on a different timer when you speed it up. So at the moment, what I've got is a siren which has the same time, and it just increases frequency. But what I may well do is go back and make it so that the siren timer is actually a little bit faster as the frequency goes up, because that would be more accurate, and I think it adds to that sense of urgency. So, that's that. But anyway, I'm waffling a little bit. Let me load that. Let me load it in again. So I just have to reset and change the machine. It's the same image, tape image. So, it just detects the AY and it kicks in as soon as you run it. So it's not like a separate version for AY or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's a little bit low. I can tweak that anyway. The other thing is the siren, and I don't think there's much I can do about this. There's a little bit of crackling. If I'll play it back, you can probably hear it. Let's see. See that little tick? But well, first of all, I don't really know if there's much I can do about it. I'm using Shiru's FX player, and it's a pure sound. There's no noise. There's nothing interfering. So I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I might ask a couple of people who know a bit more about that stuff than I do. So we'll see. But I think actually during the gameplay, it's really not that noticeable anyway, because there's so much. It's going to be so much other stuff kind of going on that it probably won't matter that much. Okay, so yeah, well that's that, isn't it? Really, that's where I'm at. I think it's a lot better. Still room for improvement. The siren I'm pretty happy with. I think if someone else wrote this game and that was the siren, I'd be like, oh yeah, nice siren, good job, right? But I may do that thing with the speed because it probably will help. The waka still needs a little bit of work. Anyway, great. That's it then from me. I hope that was interesting. And don't forget, like and subscribe, all that stuff that helps. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Happy coding. Bye-bye.